Hello there, greetings. This is a rare moment on this channel for me to be here without doing the webinar portion. So it's been a while since I've done an actual, of course I did one yesterday for a live video, but this is one. Hello, greetings. Those in the chat, much love. All right, here we are. The reason I made the title for the video about the Pentagon situation, which is kind of old news, but it's also quite fascinating how they're, where are you? Let's see here. Let's just go to it real quick. Yeah, about basically is the Pentagon, without going into basically it's about the Pentagon. I guess it's making mainstream news again about the black projects. And probably there's a lot more than them. They say like what 22 million was spent on advanced aeros. I guess this is what they're allowing to become more public, but it is interesting how this is coming, this is mainstream, so that's kind of interesting. But this is still kind of watered down. So as for what they're doing with all of this, because what recently didn't they talk about NASA's looking at a ship of some kind? So that's kind of interesting. So as for where all this is going, it does seem like they're testing the waters as to see what we're going to do. Of course, most of humanity is not going to do anything, but it is kind of fascinating. Eventually, they're going to bring this into our environment over time. But as for the spiritual connection to that, that's going to take some time. Because more it's kind of the physical, the ego, one was physical, especially all those alien movies, everybody's scaring everybody. So we gotta get over that. But it does seem like we're going in that direction eventually over time. It's not something that's going to happen. You never know. They might. I mean, they have a movie coming out about the Pentagon Papers. You never know. Well, they've done some kind of release of alien documentation, but it's old usually. But you never know. They might have a release of it. Unlikely anytime soon, but maybe in the future of where things are headed. We are going to go into that time. As for when, we still have a lot of healing to do here, obviously, but we're going to some strange times. Yeah, as for California and the Caribbean, which I'll talk about, I can't see the news that closely, but I doubt it's not in the mainstream at least. But it is getting kind of interesting of where the dynamics of where we're heading. Obviously, the spiritual aspect is what will help humanity fully grow. Of course, acknowledging it is another story. I believe, we'll see 5-10 years, maybe, it's going to get stronger and stronger year by year. I was going to do a prediction video also, but I'm not feeling I probably should. I should just let things just play out. I might do one, but it's going to be very vague. It's just like let it play out. Does this what good is it to know if there's something needed to be known? I guess I can do a slight one here. I don't think Trump's gonna be kicked out of office. Some people are thinking they're trying to a certain degree. The liberal Democrats are going to go through a mental breakdown because they can't win for anything. But they are winning in some areas, but still they're not getting what they want. So of course that's not going to be mainstream, but you never know. As for the weather, it's even like with the snow and things of that sort. We haven't really hit that yet. That might be. It might. I don't know. It's hard to say. Like with up north, there'll be areas where it'll get obviously hit pretty hard, but it might. Winter might be a short winter, possibly. We're still getting started with it. But also, it feels like, there's going to be manipulations there, obviously, through the weather technologies. So they're going to use snow. How do we know? But it does seem like they might start areas where it won't possibly turn it into ice, at least in the Americas, at least. Like, it's probably not too far from what's already going on, but it does seem like there's certain areas where they might be testing out. But, at least that's what I'm getting from that. I'm not sure what area or anything like that. So, either way, it does seem like the weather is going to be used against us as it already has been. And they might weaponize it a lot more next year. It's hard to say. Um, a lot of the Earth is, it's going through. Let's see, the vibrations of the planet are changing rapidly as for the awakening energies of. Obviously, a lot of people are afraid of these things. Spiritual connections. Even those in the spiritual community are kind of like, there's only so far some will go. So they might call it negative or whatever, label it as something. Because even those that are aware of all the aliens and everything, there's only so far some will go. I guess with me, I go everywhere. Not everybody's going to do that. So I'm called whatever name they can come up with. And that's fine. But yeah, a lot of people are they got their boundaries. And I go beyond all boundaries. I don't care. I don't think I connect to negative beings, but I do connect to those that are questionable, but not. If you connect to a negative being, it's going to be a negative show. It's going to be like humans or whatever, and off of your heads or something like that. That's a negative being. It's not pleasant, but I feel them healing. I feel them, their manipulations, at least in the future, are not going to work as strong as they are now. Right now, humans are, as you see, in like a version of themselves, unaware of what is going on. But that's going to break open eventually, and then they're going to be like become less manipulated. Of course, some might become more because they have an intuitive ability that is stronger than they might realize. So that's where manipulations come. But you become aware where it's coming from, what's going on. Of course, it's not easy. It's like you've been rained on by several beings. Some of it's insectoid. But yeah, it's going to get more galactic between now 10. I mean, I don't know, say it down in 10 years. Just like it's going to really start becoming more of a thing. There probably will be like cults, like a religion stuff. Well, most likely, I'm not going to do that, but others might. Over time, for sure, it's already in the works, from what I can tell. In some areas, but just you gotta expect that. But that's all part of growth. So go where you can get it. Some feel comfortable in that environment. So yeah, we seem to be very connected to the religion stuff. So I mean, some people need that for soul growth. Eventually, they'll go through that, and then they'll let it go, and then go into their own. So it all has its purpose. You might not agree on it, but it all has its stuff. As for, let's see, I believe, from what I'm gathering from my connections at least. I mean, obviously I don't go out like connect to this stuff 24 hours a day, far from it. But while I'm here, I connect more with it. I get more in tune to it. And even during the day, I connect more with at times, so I'm not stressed out. I feel more of the fourth and fifth dimensional energies when I'm at peace, whenever that is. I try to do it as much as possible, but you know how that goes. But and you can feel I feel the shifting going on basically. When it just you feel in certain areas, certain times, where I'm not looking for it. You just kind of know we're going into another paradigm ever so, when we need to, of basically the main message is, at least it's coming through my vibration, at least that right now is, physical alien connections. Maybe not now. Maybe eventually we're going to go to that eventually. And nothing wrong with having that conversation, because we're setting the getting over the fear getting over ourselves. It takes time. It's not, yeah, this is not something that's going to happen right away. But for some, maybe. You never know if they're ready for it, if that's their plan. I don't think that's I don't want to walk out and see a bunch of Zetas walking around. In time, maybe, but not. I don't think that's my path right now. But we're setting. I mean, from the messages that I'm picking up, we are going into that direction eventually. It's putting that mindset, not be afraid. Allow that to soak in. Basically, that this is where we're heading, and of course, most of the human population, yeah, checked out on that one. Can you imagine it's the idea is to put that idea of not just us here, but other beings, feline, humanoids, yellow beings, Palladians. I mean, you can also use that for a meditation too, if that makes you feel better, if it helps you heal. Some are waiting for that to happen, like now. I mean, that can also be of course, that might make you feel even worse here, because it's not happening in the physical. But it's all part of our plan, our mission here. Yeah, it's hard. It's but definitely not to say it can't happen physically eventually. Who knows in this lifetime? It's hard to say. But we're definitely going into that direction. So at least having that mindset does help clear the fear. Some of it's like reptilians or whatever. It's like, I feel Zetas around me mostly. Of course, there's other beings, obviously. The Zetas seem to be following me around everywhere I go. But there are others, obviously, involved with our transformation. But it does feel like, obviously, most of humanity is not ready for it. But the mindset will eventually find its change. We just have to, we have to get over ourselves, basically. There's so much, like even connecting to guides and, and higher selves or whatever you want to call them. That is right there still a problem for majority of the human race. And, and there are different, like connecting to aliens in the physical, always putting that conversation out there might help connect to your guides. Might help because some are very curious of it. And if you need to connect to your guides, connect to an alien might help, or a angel for that matter. I believe other spiritual energies will be involved with it too, not just that. It's just all a little bit here and there. Most likely we'll see, I imagine you'll see angels here and there. You'll definitely be able to heal your guides more clearly if you focus on it. It just takes time. Hearing your guides, is a hurdle for many. That's why we have tarot cards, which helps. And it's just whatever tools, stones are good for it. Also, meditation's good for it. Or just going by your own intuition is good for listening to your guides. Also, basically just do what you feel is right. That's basically, eventually your guides will speak through when the time is right. When you're ready to hear them, not everybody's the same. Obviously, that's why tarot, that's why oracle cards, tarot is good. You just use that to connect to your own guides. Definitely. Yeah, it'll help eventually get used to it. You'll feel that energy from them and you'll start to hear them clairvoyantly eventually. And usually they show images or maybe say something to you. That's all different. So yeah, basically the reason I'm going to all this is like when you get more real with this stuff, as we're heading, it takes time, but when you get more into the realism of it, it spooks people out. When we talk about connecting to aliens physically, it's going to scare people. Even those in the spiritual community, it's going to freak them out. Not to say I have an alien here to show everybody, but eventually that'll happen. I'm not sure in my lifetime, but we're going to have that eventually. And it's good to have that energy out there as we go through transformation. Eventually we have to get over ourselves. And the reason why they're not showing ourselves is we're all scared of each other. So we have guns and, was a good reason, but you know that will change. So the fear factor has to find its find a break basically eventually. But yeah, but for the most part, a lot of the stuff is too real from what I feel. For me, it's fine, but others maybe not so fine. Yeah, it's just like, well, that's too much. Well, that's I can't do this. You know, it's just yeah, you're saying or whatever it is. You know, you just gotta back away. You know, that's what I feel from with the majority of the population for the most part, or it's not real, or blah blah blah. They're not hearing what they want to hear. They don't even know what they want to hear. That's the majority of yeah. That's the majority of the population too. They don't know. Not used to all this. They're not receiving anything on their own because they're not ready for it, whatever it might be. So you know, we have to think of the engineering of the you know of everyone on the world too. The engineering is more third dimensional. So yeah, it takes a lot of generations to change the transition, but definitely physical connections will eventually happen with alien beings. Maybe 400 years from now, well, maybe here and there. Um, but yeah, they got to be careful. We got to fix ourselves. We got to heal our own perspective. That's what's going on. At least in that Pentagon leak, or it's trickling out here and there. I believe it's yeah, as I said before, it's a test. It feels like we're seeing what people will do, and as for those that are remembering their astral connections, as for like being on the secret space program and all that for Martian or Mars for the most part, they're allowing that stuff because most part it feels like they believe most people aren't going to believe it anyway. So what's the harm? Is that what you're going to do with it anyway? I mean, yeah, you can tell people all this, but majority of the population is just going to go whatever. But well, I feel like it's more the positive side that's allowed to come through. The negative, even them, they'll it seems like even the lower energies of it will are compromising to some degree to allow that to come through. So with those have been coming out about that type of stuff. So I'm worrying a little bit more about that before I had no idea, but I'm getting a little bit more detail on it. All right. All right, we're gonna bring. I felt raw around recently. I might connect to somebody else. Also, figure out bring raw and again. It's been kind of fascinating. I'm getting used to that energy. It's kind of yeah, bizarre is a good word for it. It's a little bit more intense than others I've connected to, but it does seem like it's a much needed energy. If people believe it or not, who cares? But we have to bring you to your direction I need to go. It does seem quite different than what I've ever connected to before. It just sort of came through a webinar and it's come through other means, and now it's coming through more frequent, which is kind of fascinating. So I know connect to other beings. I think you might do the raw connections mostly for a while. And this is something I have not really. I don't think I've done this. I mean, other than the webinar and recently, I have not connected that energy. So we'll see how far we go. I guess some of those that channel the raw, you know, from raw, I think they channel for like hours and hours. I forget how that works, but of course I do that here too. But for the raw material stuff like that, so then they get sick. Some do. I guess it's everybody's different. But it is good to take a break for sure. So taking a break, and now I'm back. So that's about it for right now. There's other stuff, but I can't think of anything, so I just leave it be. For those that are new to all this, we go back to our normal. This is ivantoler.com. Yeah, it turned off tomorrow, so I can answer questions that are submitted to the site. It's also private sessions this week is pretty much open. So you can see the schedule here. There's also gift cards and Google Hangout, Skype, Zoom, and channeling by phone. You also have you can submit a question here, and it takes 1 to 5 days or 10 days. I'm trying to catch up on this at this moment. And we just do Spirit Social, and we have Submit a question, healing, past life regression, message from Yeshua, 5-minute healing, channeling consulting. We also have other services, 1 question for a day, chakra healing from a day, soul painting from Stephanie, and Angelic Reiki from Miguel. So yeah, this keeps the daily updates, daily connections going, and basically here to assist the Earth and becoming more of its true self, basically, little by little. And of course, encourage others to connect on their own. It helps with the Earth and its transformation. Yeah, next year it's quiet, meaning not a lot is coming through. This also means a great amount of transition for sure. As for what, who knows? It's just, yeah, you will wait and find out is kind of what I'm getting, basically. It's like, what's the point of doing a prediction? Before it was okay. Now I'm not feeling, I don't know, we'll see. I'm just feeling like, just wait and see. Yeah, I'm getting more of that than anything else. Possibly also the Saudis might have some more downfall. As for those that got arrested recently, there might be more of that coming. I just got that. Something to do with Iceland. Is it Iceland or Greenland? Iceland? Iceland. So, I don't know about Iceland. Iceland, something about Iceland. I'll just leave that. Iceland, that's about it. That's all I got for that. It might be more climate change around there. Possibly. I don't know, Iceland, something, who knows? We'll just leave it at that. Yeah, it's very vague. Everything's super vague. It's not important. It really isn't. I believe just more open up more to obviously alien knowledge of more the spiritual connection of it. It's going to get stronger next year, from what I feel. In certain areas, it's going to get weird as usual. It's going to continue to be bizarre. Some do get a lot of ego with it, feel like they know everything, and they do their attacks, stuff like that. I dealt with that, so that's interesting. That's another part of growth. Yeah, I'm not sure if that many people want to grow with that, but it exists. Those aren't, yeah, that's yuck. But whatever, that's part of it's all, we all expand in our own ways. So all right, we'll connect and we'll see if anybody else has a message. Go out to Federation Light, they might come here in too. We'll see. I'm not sure if I can handle this after raw connection, so we'll see. 1 second. All right, here we go. I am raw. As you distinct yourself, you see yourself in the third dimension as a ghost being. Realize, yes, your words, wisdoms are sent out to the universe and brought back to you. You are not seen in the third dimension because, yes, you are manifesting your future days. You're not here to fully see your future, but your higher dimensions do. But it's all, the idea is to learn better without knowing where you are going, because it helps with your experience. It spreads it out more. You read the experience stronger without knowing the futures. This is why the future is never easily predicted. It never will be. Some cases, yes, where the spirit is allowing a little bit to come through. For the most part, the idea in this third dimension of environment, the future is basically best to be unknown. Because as you experience it, you learn more. The intensity was within you more. You register it stronger. How would you feel if you already knew a relationship was going to fall apart? Well, you would just avoid it altogether, won't you? You want to experience that intensity that is much needed to register, because it goes into many lessons and vibrations, not just for that lesson alone. It goes into much of your character and other aspects of yourself. So to experience an experience is better to have the unknown. As you are, the soul growth of you here is much needed, because you cannot experience this in other environments. Of the fourth and fifth dimensions, they do not have this environment. This is why you come here. You're wondering what the meaning of life is. The meaning of life is to experience this existence. You can do it the best you can. Of course, some don't. Some will make it more complicated. It's funny, though, those that make it more complicated learn much more. But it does not mean you have to do that. You still learn. It's just some make it so complicated. They have so much stress it can't go on anymore also. So it has its downsides to it. But of course, it is warning of that day, growing within that day. That energy grows within you so strongly to build your foundations of what you are trying to achieve. Everyone has their own achievement. That's why we have different personalities, different eye color, eyesight, different health. It's all there for a reason for your soul. You are what you are at this moment because you wish to be. You can always change that, but you are there for a reason to experience that very day, that very moment. And yes, many of you are trying to build a more positive future. That's why many are looking for fame and fortune, which makes a great amount of sense. Of course, fame and fortune has a lot of, yes, more mysteries along with it that you might not want to experience, and most don't want to experience. That's why you don't experience it. But many do experience the everyday life is to manifest a stronger foundation within yourself, to know more of thyself, to grow more as a tree, you can say, much more than that. But yes, the tree beings and nature beings are very much growing within your vibrations. I do connect more to the universe. Realize many of you, reason you're coming to the third dimension, because the life lessons here are so valuable. Many of you choose the third dimension over the fourth dimension at any day, any cost. That's why so many are having difficulties removing the third dimension, because they know what the heart lessons are. And some do get very complacent in the third dimension and never want to leave, as you can see, because they know what their growth is of it. Some have gotten so used to it, but then they get stuck into the mind control energies where they do not want to leave, as you can see. And the connecting to the fourth and fifth dimensions is basically also showing your third dimensional energies are coming to a close. School is over. It is time to graduate. And many are having difficulties on that graduation energy. So it's a long graduation. But there's only so long a school can go in its lessons. And it has hit its expiration date. So you're going to see more anomalies in your skies. You're going to feel more of the spiritual teachers coming through to help you shake off the third dimensional environment. Because school is, well, it is closed, but still everyone's still here. But that's fine. Experience as much as you need to. There are other places to go, and many of you are going there, but some are very hesitant to do that. So there's always going to be this cycle of third dimension, but every day it becomes less and less strong. Many of you feel. Of course, those that are not fully ready to let it go still think they're in school. There's nothing wrong with that, though. If school was not over, you would not feel the fourth dimensional energies coming through you so rapidly than ever before. So it's showing that your 2012 transition, dawn of a new age, is now in full flux and will continue to do so. Become less third dimensional, more fourth dimension. There will be times in your future, possibly in your timelines, but most likely be future generations, where all of a sudden you're levitating and you have no idea how you did it. Your telekinesis abilities will come out of nowhere and you have no idea how that happened. This is showing the fourth dimensional vibrations. The earth will have less war, less anger, and all of a sudden you can do things you have no, just like what you see in your televisions. But you all have this special power and it will come to you. So realize you're building this future earth. And we're not just saying this. This is all lives within you. It is coming. It is here. It is now. It is the new earth. And this foundation that you are wish to experience is up to you. Where do you want? What is the world do you want? Some, yes, wish to know everything, as we are picking up on, and become very vicious with that information too, as we can see. Many of you are, yes, have a great amount of information and have much kindness with. So what kind of vibration do you put with the energy that you know? Some have an attack energy too. They say they're getting attacked, but some are causing the attacks also. That's not all cases, but there are cases where that exists. Like you send it out and then you get it back. Now there are others that are actually sending energies of positivity out to others, and you're receiving an attack back because they're not ready. This has a lot to do with the third dimensional environment as it's transforming. You are feeling the feedback of third dimension coming to you. Those are not wanting it to happen or coming after you. You're feeling it. You are sending love and receiving something else back that you're not exactly asking for. And that is what's going on in your third dimension. You're doing much in the astral plane as for changing your earth. Rewriting this earth, basically. It's like you're sewing a new quilt, basically, around your planet. And so it's not everyone's going to agree on how the sewing is going. There's also much going on, yes, in the human soul. As many of you are feeling more alive than ever before. Feel like you're leaving your body at times because you are. You're feeling fourth dimensional energies because you're more in the fourth dimension than you are in the third. If you feel more fifth dimension because you are there more. You're not feeling it because you just walked through a wormhole or anything like that. It's because you're also allowing yourself to transform your entire body to a more high vibrational entity where anything goes. I am not just saying these things. It lives within you. You know it. Your body is just getting used to these energies. So just go with it. Where do you want to go? Just go with it. Because realize many manifestations of a higher vibrational earth is finding itself to your earth in the third dimension, changing its landscape than ever before. It does speed up. As more of you send out love, you receive love back. And the earth feels it and allows more transformation. It's basically those that are affected by anomalies of change. Some of it might be of fire or whatever it might be of weather anomalies. But realize you are sending assistance wherever these situations happen. And some of it, yes, it's the third dimension fighting back to some degree. Weather anomalies, it is fighting back. Not to say the human race is doing, but entities that do not want it to occur. It is just part of also soul growth. It has so much involved with it. There's so many pieces of the puzzle that are not necessarily needed to be seen. But it's going into a fabric of a new vibrational earth, and many of these anomalies happen for a reason. Yes, not always needed to be known. The soul knows, and that's what matters most. Soul connects more to the astral universe. As you are connecting more to the astral, you are going to see more out of body experiences over time. It become the new norm. Astral projection will be part of your society. You want to travel, where do you want to go? That's going to be part of your culture. And that is where your new earth lies. I will leave you be with that knowledge. You are unlocking your soul from this environment. Just let it flow. Know that you are in the right. Know that you have love. Love. There are different versions of love, but just love will help you grow. I am raw. Blessings. All right. We'll just leave it with that. Wish well, everyone. Take care.